Hello, welcome back. This is part 6, and we are ready to UV map the last two objects. So let's go ahead and get to it. We're going to keep these separated until we get finished UV mapping this pillar or spire or whatever you want to call it. And we're going to keep those separate from the top and the bottom of it, so we can UV map those separately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do what we've been doing. Again, you probably know what I'm going to go with this time. I'm going to go ahead and do UV automatic mapping. I want to make sure that I have everything cleared out though as far as history and stuff goes. So I'm going to go into object mode and make sure I get these taken care of. So I'm going to take these three objects and go ahead and center pivot, delete by type history, and freeze transformations. That way we can clear everything out. So I think I've already got this UV'd. Let's see if it worked okay. UV editor. Yep, it looks like it did. So just like we've been doing, I'm going to go ahead and do the exact thing that I usually do, is move and sew. So I'm going to move these out of the way. And yours may look different. I don't know. We got to rotate this, go into transform, and rotate around. There we go. And move that out too as well. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and make this full screen so it's a little easier for me to see what I'm doing. Move this stuff out, move this stuff out. Click on these guys, go down to arrange and layout. So I want to orient the shells. Select these guys, orient the shells. We still have this set up at 53.1548, which is what I want. So I'm going to select it and hit set. There we go. And that should set everything up to the right proportions. Okay, we do have some pieces that are overlapping. You have to watch that. If when you do reset the textile density, it may scale some objects up to a point where they may touch each other, and you can't have that when you bring all this stuff into Substance Painter. So just remember that. Alright, so I'm going to right click over here to edge. I'm going to select the edges here. Whoops. Click on the edges here like we've been doing. Click on the edges. Okay. And move and sew. Click on these edges. I'm going to hit the G key. It just remembers what I did before, what tool I used, and we'll select the same tool again. I'm going to hit the G key. That's what I did before. Okay, so just like before, we'll go to UV shell, select it, unfold. Okay, and then we're going to optimize it until it stops that is close to, so I'm just clicking on optimize over and over again, and then I'm going to click on straighten UVs. There we go. Okay, it's not perfect obviously, so like I showed you before, I'm just going to right click and go to UVs and make these UVs a little bit better than they were. Okay. Just make them even. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit and just kind of do these all at once. Just get them close. They don't have to be perfect. As close as we can. And this I don't like at all, so I'm gonna just move that up a little bit and just move this out a little bit and then up. There we go. That looks good. And so we are ready to do the windows. So I'm going to move these. Let's go into UV shell. Move these out and out so we can repack this thing. There we go. And I'm going to bring this back down again, and we're going to select the windows. Go into face mode. Hit the Q key and just hold down the shift key and select everything. And it looks like I got a window over here too. Rotate around. Get the inside of that. Let's make sure the window is selected. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna hit the 4 key to kind of see through to make sure I don't have anything else selected. Okay, so then I'm gonna zoom in here and just hit the W key and just move all those down. And so I'm gonna pack these first. Go ahead and make this full screen so you guys can see better what I'm gonna do. And these are the windows that I've actually isolated in face mode, and now I'm just moving them around. I'm going to go back into UV shell. So these are the, it looks like we had a window that was kind of attached. I'm not sure which one it was. Let's go ahead and bring that back up again. I'm going to go to UV and get that back where it was. Okay. Go back to UV shell and start packing this the best I can. Move this over here and this over here, and of course we'll just start selecting these guys here. There we go. I want to be careful because I don't want to make a mistake of thinking these are all windows. So I've got to make sure that they are not too close to the windows. In fact, I'm going to put these probably down here. Give myself lots of room over here. Okay. Probably do this too as well. Just kind of pack this corner down here like that. I know we've got some stuff overlapping, so I've got to get rid of that. It doesn't really matter where these are, just so they are packed properly. So we got a little space here and a little space here. There we go. That looks good. So there is our other spire that we can use. And just make sure we're on UV shell. I'm gonna pull this down. That looks pretty good. Okay, and then we got to worry about the top. So let's go ahead and go into object mode, click on the top, and we are going to use UV planar. We're going to planar map that from the top. Okay, planar map that from the top, so that'd be the Y axis. Click on that, and it lays it out nice for us. I'm going to right click over and go to UV shell, and I'm going to move it out of the UV space. Okay, so how am I going to work this, how to get them together? I'm going to click on object mode and select them both, and I'm going to go hold down the space bar, go to mesh combine. Now we'll combine them together. Then I'm going to right click over the UV shell, click on the UV shell, and I'm going to select set, and that'll get me the same size as what we've been doing. There we go. That's awful close to that, so I'm going to move this just to kind of change places with this. There we go, like that, and then move this one in like that, and these are the windows then. Nothing's intersecting, looks good. Okay, because if they're intersecting, it won't work. I'm going to go back into object mode up here, and I'm going to go to UV snapshot and do the same thing we've been doing before. Everything we've got in here is set up properly. I'm going to go to browse. I'm going to click on this one and then just type in 8 for the UV texture set. 8. And apply and close. Once that's done, I go to File, Export Selection as OBJ, click on Export Selection, and I'm going to click on this one here and just type in 8 here. There we go. And Export Selection. I'm going to hit the 5 key so I can see what's going on here. I'm going to close this, click off that. And we're going to go to the next one. And since this is in the back, I mean, we do have like 2 windows in there, so we just have to be careful with that. But other than that, I do the same thing. UV, automatic mapping. I've got scale on there. I don't like that. I want to make sure that everything is zeroed out. I'm going to go ahead and go into UV and automatic mapping and UV editor, okay, and do the same exact thing over and over and over again. Yes, let's go to UV shell and move it out, move this out, move everything out. And nothing went upside down except for this guy right here. So I'm going to move that, rotate that around. So rotate, there we go. Let's go ahead and move this, and these are part of the windows here. I can almost guarantee it. I'm going to select all these and get the textile density to the right size. So I'm going to click on set. So now I'm going to move everything together. This is where the windows are. This is the back. This is probably one of the sides. It's just fine. Click on this one. A side one. This is probably the bottom. This is probably the top. So I'm going to minimize this a minute. The bottom we don't need, so I'm going to go to face mode, select the faces of it. And if I actually have this in selection mode, Control 1, we'll be able to see that if I right click over and go to face mode, select them, I can go ahead and delete those by selecting them in the UV editor, which is kind of fun. Oh, wait a minute. I guess it deleted that, but it didn't delete this. So let me go back. So I can select them, but then I have to go in here and delete them. I got more than one set up. That's kind of weird. Huh. Interesting. Let me go into my paint so I can select them really quickly. That's odd that it didn't do that, but I've been able to do that before. Maybe I had two sets of faces on top of each other. Interesting. All right, which solves the problem if I run into any issues with it before. That could be a real problem. So now we don't have to worry about the bottom of it. You know, I just realized I didn't do that to the last item that I had, so I'll have to do that later. Just remember to, you don't have to do anything to your UV map. Once you delete your faces, it'll delete the UV map with it. You might have to save out your UV map. So anyway, I'm going to get this selected. This is the most tedious work, is just the windows. The rest of it's pretty easy. So those are the windows. I'm going to full screen this up again. And I'm going to hit the W key and just move those in the corner here. There we go. So we know those are the windows. I need UV shell. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and put the rest of these in. All right, so this one is done. Yay. So I'm going to go ahead and scale that out a little bit. Make sure it's in object mode, and then I'm going to go to the UV snapshot and click on browse and go, and this is going to be number 9. There we go. Save, and then apply and close. Close your UV editor, go to file, and let's go to export selection. It's be OBJ export. Click on this one and then just type in 9. Here we go. Click on export selection. I'm going to do Control-1. That'll bring everything back in here again. Okay, the next video will be to UV map the flags.